a D5. I got a 1, and I'm... man, it seems really unfair, but your notes are also very good. A 1, that's Chapman. That's a top left. You want to do it this time? I mean,
no,
it's fair.
The opposite. I move that it be his job from now on.
No, I'm gonna keep rolling
okay.
the die.
Well, if you say so, Captain.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
yeah.
no second on it. It's vetoed from the start.
Man.
But for tonight, the Chapman recap.
All right, let's take a look here. So when last we left off, we were going to get into space Viking politics because that's where our careers have led us to this point. Let's see. We started out, the notes I have, we were talking about our futures, bettering ourselves, educational prospects. Oh, right, we're talking about maybe actually getting new skills and learning things if we survive through this. So then we were, at the site of a battlefield between all of Captain Bjorgulfsson's former crew, and they've split up into different factions. He kind of gave us the story on all of them. Good overview. So we know that his first mate Lucas is the one who led the mutiny of against him, and he's still in control of his ship, the Vodenseye. But right now they're all stuck in this ruined toxic town. They lost about half their crew. They can't take off with what they currently have. So in addition to Lucas, who has that bridge crew, we also know there is a loyal leader named Sofrin who commands a handful of Vikings, which is the one that we immediately ran into and actually got into their graces. Magni, who Sofrin does not get along with, was a fanatic who has more Vikings, but we were able to convince them to unite with Sofrin's forces under the shared loyalty with Bjorgulfsson. Borvi was a scientist who I think was converted into a space Viking. He had originally aided First Mate Lucas and everything, and he just commands a bunch of technicians, but not like warriors, so we were like, they don't need to necessarily be recruited for our effort to retake the ship. The two really tough ones that we had to deal with are Trask, who is also hated Sofrin. He was a hired gun, so he just has a bunch of mercenaries who haven't been paid yet. And then Harkamann, who is a madman zealot who is totally bonkers and also has control of an anti-aircraft gun that is kind of the biggest obstacle right now. So yeah, we ran into Sofrin's crew. We won them over, and then we rescued some of Magni's men from a space pterodactyl. We got to call for a meeting between the two factions. And we appealed to their religious solidarity in order to get everybody on the same page. We discussed some strategy and decided that we wanted to scout out Borvi's faction before taking further action. But we do have some ideas about what we might do once we make our play for how to get the ship back. And I think that's about everything.
It's hard to pick, but I think my favorite thing that happened last session was when Father Chris groaned out loud when the Space Vikings started singing a dirge because one of them murdered another one. That was probably my favorite part.
Loudly eye roll. Whatever gets us off this dust hole fastest.
So, you've exited the large complex where Magni's men were. He has the largest body of space Vikings. You have at your behest, thanks to Sofrin and Magni making at least temporary amends, 33 space Vikings? 43? 43. And anyways, Borvies, they know that Borvie is holed up somewhere in this other building. There are barricades here. There is also a door on the other side that you can see. As I mentioned before last time, this city, whatever this city once was, is a wasteland. Clouds of toxic gas roil overhead, and gunfire. You can actually see rounds ignite and ricochet in places and tumble among the chunks of metal that have been left here from ages ago. And somewhere beyond this building, this large vertical half-ruined smokestack to the northeast, where it's said that Harkamann is an old disused landing pad that currently has the 400-ton Vodenseye, the space Viking starship. And on it is a missile launcher, a couple of sandcasters, and 2 pulse lasers. And you're hoping this ship will make it to where it needs to go, so you can rip off one of those pulse lasers, and as you know, compensation for this whole deal. So here you are, going down the list. The next person is Shipley. What do you think? What do you think we should do?
Well, as I recall, what's the person doing who wandered around the corner last time, right when we ended?
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. There are these little 2.5 foot long critters with a kind of insectoid carapace, but otherwise the size and behavior of pigs, and they are squeaking and grunting their way towards you. And there's a man in rags who is darting around the corner and coming around, and even from around the corner to the south, you heard him saying, "Susan! Susan!" You also notice, by the way, something right here. This is perhaps not intentionally a manhole cover, but it's clear that the surface of this, side street has been ripped off, and it leads to something subterranean. It's you can see that this thing just goes straight down, and there's a ladder. Yeah. Sorry, Shipley, go ahead.
Okay, I want to talk to the guy and see if he's a threat or if he's just wandering through after his insect pig. So I'll ask him if that's his pig.
He sees people that clearly aren't Space Vikings and are clearly not Free League waste mutants, and he runs up to you and Shipley, and he grabs you by the vac suit, like, please, you have to help me. Susan is everything. She's my life.
Susan is the insect pig?
There are a lot of these little insect pigs running around here. There's kind of like a herd of them. And he says, Susan, she's the matriarch. She's the mother pig.
Oh no. What's the matter with her?
She's lost.
Are you kidding me right now?
The pig's pretty docile.
Yeah, these beetle pigs are indeed docile. All right, Books, what do you think?
So I think that we should help him look for his pig. I do think that there are other more pressing matters, so I propose we either split up or we get some or we get some of the soldiers that are at the base waiting for us. We get some of them to investigate, but I think basically we should have one group look for the pig, and one group explore that subterranean tunnel.
Can we take care of the guys that are shooting at us first?
Oh yeah, there's guys shooting at us.
Well, I mean, there's gunfire. We know there's hostile mercenaries. We know there's a crazy man with an anti-aircraft gun.
We came here to find one of the missing factions and recruit them.
What's the old man's response to any of Bellamy's loud complaints about this?
Yeah, no, there's an active, like a firefight, a multi-directional, multi-faction firefight, and rounds are flying overhead. Every once in a while, you can actually hear one ping and tumble nearby at one of the nearby chunks of ruined metal or building.
Get this old fool under shelter, and let's talk about this. Remember, we were trying to find Borby. That's Bellamy, by the way.
Okay, so Books, you're suggesting, like, yeah, maybe help him, but what? Try to... Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, initially I suggested, like, splitting up, but I think if this is like an active firefight, I think, like Bellamy said, like, we have to focus on safety and not getting shot first.
Remember the Space Vikings had said they had lost contact with Borby and that he'd been isolated from them by mysterious squeaks and grunts and all that. So I'm hoping if we find the mother pig, by accident when we're trying to find Borby, that this guy might be able to calm her down. I don't fancy the idea of fighting a very large insect pig, although I will if I have to.
I think this guy could probably tell us about our surroundings if we can get behind some cover.
Yeah, I do think it's worth it to spend some time trying to help him. I'm sure he at least knows the area much better than us. He might have some suggestions on where we could find Borby, or, you know, we might be able to learn something from him.
If the goal is to get behind cover...
Definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, he's raising a herd of pigs. He's obviously a local. Probably has some knowledge about this whole area, and maybe he knows what's going on in that hole in the ground. Leads to Borby's into Borby's lair. Who knows? Oh yeah, get him on our side.
If the goal is to get under cover, you're easily able to find this corner here. This maybe is like a dumpster, and then there's an old, ruined grav car here, and so bam, you've got some cover now. You gain the benefits of both cover and full cover and concealment. So unless somebody's searching for you, they won't find you, and you cannot get hit.
All right, old man. Where'd you last see this Susan?
So you're a little bit distant. You said, you asked him where's the last place he saw Susan?
Where'd you last see Susan? Yeah.
Okay. He says, I don't know. She ran off after a group on the other side of this building started shooting. That's where the pin is.
Question. Are these beetle pigs in front of us all loose? Is he struggling to, get them back under his control?
Yeah, he is not. It looks like they're probably safer here than they are, in the open where the pin was.
Gotcha.
So you also have a bunch of beetle pigs around you. There are 7. What do you think, Marcello?
Where could your Susan have gone to?
Well,
Could she have fallen into that hole over there?
she did. She ran off to the north after they started shooting on the other side of this building. At this point, Lothak speaks up, and she says, "If you can find me something of Susan's, I can probably find her."
Yeah, you're talking here about a dog person. So something. Do you have something? Something of Susan's?
At this, he's startled. He's like, "What the heck are you?" Startled by Lothak. Lothak growls.
Don't worry, he's a real cutie, or she's a real cutie. It's a she, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, Lothak is, yeah. Oh wait.
Real sweetie. Real.
Well, her pin's over there. I don't have anything of hers. There's her leash, her trough.
Leash.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't look like a space Viking, right?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
They could have paid him though.
What'd you say?
I said they could have paid him though.
Ah.
What about the leash?
Yeah. It's near the pin. So, you've got Lothak is offering if you can get something of Susan's that she might be able to track Susan. Alternately, Susan fled somewhere in this direction, toward the north somewhere, after the fighting started. There's a gunfight locally right on the other side of this building, and then inside of this building past the barricade or past the front door, supposedly this is the hideout of Borvi.
Does this building have any windows that are exposed at all, or is everything like boarded up?
Everything is boarded up.
I propose that we progress carefully north and around the corner. Keep an eye out for any pig-like creatures, and also get an idea of how we might get into that building, because that's originally why we came out this way anyway. Well, look at all those dice being rolled. That always bodes well.
It's a gunfight.
Yeah, the sounds of the gunfight on the other side of the building die down. All right. So, and then Bellamy. So what do you think?
Well, I think we do need to go north. Either way, it's the entrance into the building, and it's the way towards where the pig ran, and it's the way towards the pen. So,
All right. Do you all agree with that? Going into the building via the north? All right.
Yes.
All right. So you
Yeah, for sure.
you probably have to sprint and run and go to cover and everything, and there are explosions going off in the distance, and you can see flashes of muzzle fire, and you can hear those pings and ricochets and things, and every once in a while one of the rounds will light up, and you can see them bouncing around, crisscrossing. And as soon as you come around the corner, you're immediately confronted by 2 space Vikings with assault rifles. They raise their assault rifles at you, and it looks like they are just seconds away from firing, but they hesitate as they notice that you are not space Vikings, but that you do have 1 space Viking with you. So they
quick,
hesitate.
tell him your story.
You tell that to the space Viking?
Yeah, that's the whole reason he's with us.
Yeah, alright. He starts speaking in Old Norse and starts yelling something out. And they yell back and forth for a moment as you are out in the open. There's a door right here. You realize that this entrance is pretty large. It's about 15 feet wide, and it descends down, and there's a ladder. It looks like it goes down pretty far. You can also see from where you are now that There's a group of space Vikings here, and there are 2 of them that are shooting in your direction, and while 2 of them bound backwards. Let's see if these guys get hit. Misses, hits. So the first thing that happens is one of these space Vikings just gets knocked out. Like you can see him get hit by these assault rifle rounds, and then immediately this space Viking takes this one and drags him along the ground toward cover over here where these sandbags are.
Let's join them.
Behind the sandbags?
That's my vote.
Cover sounds good.
Well, we got to keep telling our story, and we got to find out who these guys are.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. You take cover behind this. This will act as regular cover. Let's see. The first thing he's going to do is take his round to fire back. Misses. And then these will begin bounding back, actually. And now they make it to full cover. You can't see them. So. And after a moment, this space Viking bleeds out and dies. Unless somebody wants to try to attempt a medic check to intervene.
Can't.
I think everybody has medic 1.
Yeah, I mean, somebody should.
Everybody should have, let's see, pilot 1, navigation 1, engineering
I'm willing to give it a
1.
shot. What is it affected by? Education or int? Do either of those factor in?
Oh, I have medic 1. I can try a check.
It basically just allows you to do it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh. Let's see. You got 8. Yeah, so that passes. All right, you're able to stabilize this person from dying. Whoops, that's the wrong button.
He's in trouble.
And
I didn't know Klingon anatomy.
at this point, this one speaking in Old Norse with your translator. Your translator says, "He says that we should get in that building, get out of this place." You can all
I hear that.
You can see some dead bodies down here, by the way. All right. That causes.
Said we should
sounds.
go into the building.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and there are a bunch of space Vikings in here. They raise their weapons, as soon as you enter. But then, this one that leads you in says something in Old Norse, and they lower their weapons and bring you over to a man with blonde hair, piercing amber eyes. He's an attractive man. He has he does not look like, I don't know how to describe it. Doesn't look like a space Viking. And he speaks in perfect Anglic, and he says, "So, our captain is still alive then."
For the moment.
Can you take me to
Is that
him?
good news or bad news for you?
It's complicated news. I thought that I might need to wait and see what happened between Magni and Harkamann. We were fighting Harkamann's men. And then he motions toward the one who's wounded, and he says, We thought that we maybe weren't going to make it out, in fact. We'd fortified this building, but we've already lost several men, and I thought maybe this would be the end of our crew.
Well, with your numbers here, let me see. That makes about 53 by my count. Maybe 54, not counting us.
Now, of course, are your fellas here cut out for a straight fight, or are they the sort that might need to hang back? As I understand it, their main asset is what's going on up here.
You can see
That's
him.
probably fighting words.
Yeah, it should be. Although apparently not. You can see him calculate this for a moment. He immediately deduces you've made contact with Sovereign.
Look, we're here to help your captain. We need to put the crew back together, and you seem like a reasonable man.
Those numbers. Who are you working with? Trask or Borvi?
You mean Magni?
Or, sorry, yeah, Magni.
Magni, we haven't gotten to Trask yet.
Praise Odin.
Praise Odin.
I give a sidelong look to Chapman.
We may lose a crew member here.
Give him an elbow.
So,
good work.
does Borvi? I mean, he's not natively a Viking, so I don't know how convincing my whole spiel would be on him. But I can at least say I don't know what things were like when Bjorgulfsson was calling the shots, but I cannot imagine it could have been worse than the current state of the Vodenseye and its crew. I say, gesturing outside. I'm sure you'll find yourself a lot more comfortable once you're able to return again into the safety of Valhalla with your proper Allfather once more, just as Sovereign has decided and just as Magni has decided.
You're correct. And then he sees that the shepherd is here. You know, this mutant shepherd person. And he says, I regret that we had to shatter your pen and let loose the matriarch of your herd. I needed your herd. I think that your what are they called? He provides the name. He says they're called Griggs. Grig. Yes, your Griggs. They I think they're well suited for this situation. While all these space Vikings are killing one another, those Griggs are very low to the ground and very fast. So, you can see
the Roman thing.
Yeah, he's captured some Griggs in here, and he's been working on strapping various things to the Griggs, both for surveillance and as suicide pigs. Pig bombs. Beetle pig bombs. And anyways, he says, I had hoped that if we had released a sufficient number of them, that they may pathfind a way that would be safe for us to be able to infiltrate Harkamann's compound and be able to attack where he wouldn't gain the advantages of that heavy weapon that he has.
How do you propose to get pigs to infiltrate Harkamann's position?
I don't think they'll need to. With the matriarch of the herd gone, they'll follow her. And in so doing, they'll find the safest and shortest path to her. And that will be the path that we can take to cross this no man's land.
I have heard of
I see.
worse maze solving algorithms before.
All right. Yeah.
Ingenious.
So does that mean you absconded with her or let her loose? Is that the idea?
We did spook her. And he turns toward the shepherd. I'll ensure that you're compensated. You can see he's weeping.
Well, we've been
Sometimes
talking, of
it's not
course.
just
with-
about money.
We've been talking with Bjorgulfsson, Sofrin, and Magni about potential ideas of how we want to deal with Harkamann once and for all. Not to mention, of course, Trask. So, obviously, you have resources, you have a good head on your shoulders, you have probably the most cunning plan we've heard yet. Would say that maybe we all get together, pool those resources, and come up with a much more sophisticated plan of action than just, sending pigs at a wall and seeing which ones stick.
Okay. Yeah, you all want to have a full conference, make it back to Captain Bjorgulfsson? Is that what you all want to do?
Absolutely.
If he's up for it, I think that's the move.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Is the pig herder still with us, or?
Oh, of course. Of course. So let's see. That brings it to 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, and one shepherd.
Not
Bring
counting
him
us.
into the war room.
And 7 beetle pigs. No, 10 because you have the ones in there as well. Okay. Yeah, so you form a command post over here, and everybody gets together. You can see, unfortunately, Captain Bjorgulfsson has passed out, and they're tending him for blood loss and dehydration, among other things. What do you all do? Top of the round, Shipley. Again, what do you think?
I'm curious if we're gonna actually try the pig thing. So he had mentioned that he would let loose the Grigs. I want to hear more about this Grig plan. How does he intend to actually track the Grigs once they go find their matriarch?
I think that I have some equipment that I've jury-rigged for some of the Grigs. It will pathfind whatever path taken by the matriarch. So I'll know.
Okay, and then can he tell if they've actually found a path through yet?
He hasn't sent them out yet.
Okay.
Can we talk about Trask?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean to me that's thing one, and I want to know why we can't try to solve that one peacefully as well. Just pay the guy off and be done with it. I heard he's about to make a play for the ship, and that ship's going to be worth a lot more than whatever it is he's owed. But I don't know if he has the crew anymore to. I don't know if he has. Does he have the crew? Does he have people in his outfit that can fly that thing?
Trying to remember. Does anybody remember how much he owes? 60,000.
I'll write that down.
Down.
I think it was a lot. I think it was like 60,000.
Right, but
It's 120,000.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
okay, but
I
didn't
remember it was in the 6 figures.
Bjorgulfsson or his right-hand man suggested that he might take, a payment to at least be mollified for the moment? So I don't know if that's still standing. If he's about ready to make a move on the ship, he might have given up on the hope of that.
one of the reasons why we were more reluctant to try to bring him into the fold is just because, like, he's not a Viking. He's not as easily persuaded by loyalty. We can't pay him in full. And he also is one of the ones who hates Sophrin. So, like, we could be restoring the very volatile status quo from right before the mutiny took place. And who knows how long that would even last. I'm sure that he's smart enough to also foresee that not being a very stable arrangement. If we said, yeah, just get the band back together, he is kind of the odd one out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about hiring him on again full-time. I mean, I'm talking about taking out that gun. You remember what I said last time? You put the mercs in the front line.
What do you think? What do you think, Books?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. The whole getting him on board to go against this big gun, putting them on the front line, and then kind of going our separate ways, or taking it a day at a time or a step at a time. I mean, it's. I think it's worth talking to him or kind of checking the temperature.
We should leave out the putting them on the front line part when we bring up this brilliant plan.
Of course. I mean, plus you can't. I'm sure you can't convince Space Vikings not to also be on the front line. But but I got another question though, and I'm asking this. I'm hoping a Viking has an answer to some of this. Are there any cash reserves at all amongst any of these factions?
You get dead stares. Two things happen then also. Sulfurin marches across, says something in Old Norse to Borvai, and then claps him across the face with the back of his hand, making him reel across the table nearby. And then he yells something at the honor guard that was sent over in Old Norse. And he says something to everyone, and then he turns back to you as if none of that happened, and he says, "So, are you suggesting that we go and give them a bunch of money so that they'll attack this gun emplacement? Maybe it's good that we have Imperials here. Always trying to solve your problems with money."
Well, it's actually your problem, I think, right? Because you're the ones who hired them in the first place.
You're right. We had a problem that we started with money, and maybe we'll finish it that way.
I'm just saying you wipe the books clean, you know?
We're
Start with a
somewhat
fresh...
short on credits, though, Captain.
So the answer is no cash reserves.
No. Never mind the fact that everything valuable that we have is on the Vodenseye.
Does it add up to anywhere close to what you owe them?
Not really. You might say that our assets are not exactly liquid right now.
More sort of a nebulous, spiritual sort of asset.
He grits his teeth. He didn't like that.
I'll shut up now.
All right.
Sovereign, do you have... You may not have full pockets right now, but is there any possibility of future income? Do you have any contracts coming in? Do you have any shipments? Anything?
In a way that you're not used to, having operated in the Spinward Marches for nearly a year, he actually gives you a direct answer about making money and simply says, "No. We'll have to take the ship back to Königsrock and start over. Get repairs. Try to find someone to work for. Our job here is lost. We were stabbed in the back."
All right.
Sounds familiar.
So, Harkamann, we don't know exactly how many people he has with him, but we know that right now his anti-aircraft gun is keeping us from being able to walk around out in the open. But already we have options for maybe getting over to him and his anti-aircraft gun a little bit more inconspicuously. Maybe pigs are the answer. They will find us the path. Maybe we can go down through a sewer system. Maybe we can just hop from building to building, staying indoors so we're never exposed in the open. But what do we think about just trying to take the aircraft gun, deal with him, and then point that gun at Trask's men?
Why don't we ask Sovereign or what's his name? Morgie? This guy? Can't remember his name.
Magni?
Magni. I mean, they should be able to estimate how many forces Harkamann's group has, right?
I think we weren't sure how it shook out between him and Lucas, which ones had how many of that contingent of the Viking crew.
Yeah.
Orvy's a sharp guy, though.
Yeah, Borvi, he says probably they have something a dozen or 2 dozen.
Dozen.
The real force multiplier they possess is that gun. They can train it on the Vodenseye if they become desperate enough.
Okay.
Right.
If we get onto the Voden's Eye, can we take out the anti-aircraft gun with the Voden's Eye weapons?
Easily.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, don't forget, we haven't tried this, Valhalla. Actually, never mind. I whisper over to, whisper to Chapman. We haven't tried the Valhalla bit on Harkamann's men yet either. That was going to be part of the plan too, I think.
We had talked about it, but also he's like the main one that nobody wants anything to do with. Like, he's the problem. Because he's the madman.
So,
I mean, even Bjorgolfsson himself said, like, he's got to die.
maybe his men will kill him if they get a whiff of this this new religion in the air.
All right. So, let me throw out some options here, and then, Marcello, Books, Shipley, y'all, like, if something else is coming up here, but I heard Shipley say, well, this isn't what you said, but this is what when you said this is what I thought. Just drive for the Vodenseye, and in a kind of lightning strike, take it, and then take the guns. Because the main thing, the reason that Lucas hasn't already done that is he needs the bodies. And now you have the bodies. So, like, maybe if you don't lose too many people in retaking the Vodenseye and you can strike hard and fast, maybe you can just take out the gun fast enough and none of it will matter. So that's an idea. Another idea is strike really hard and fast. Maybe use the pigs. Try to find some way to reach Harkamann, and the same thing. Strike hard and fast before he can use the gun. Take out Harkamann and the gun, and then all of a sudden you have the gun. Now you can train it on Trask, and submit or die kind of thing. And then lastly, the other option I'm hearing is that you try to make it to Trask and negotiate, and try to come up with a settlement with Trask.
And then the fourth option would be rig a megaphone and convince Harkamann's own men to turn against him and just let them sort that out among themselves.
Yeah. All right.
Well, as a subset of the hit him hard and fast, or actually maybe the first two. Maybe I don't know how quickly these guns can turn around, but maybe we could set up a diversionary attack on one side, so that the gun is pointed, a certain way, and then people who have control of the ship can come in and take out the gun from behind or something.
Yeah, what's the fire arc on that thing?
I think the fire arc is not a problem for it. They'll tell you this. The limitation is more of its rate of fire. So if it has a serious target that it needs to engage with, you know, but to be clear, let's say you come in with like the Lady of Mercia and try to use the gun in its cargo bay, it's going to stop shooting at who is coming, because they also have like a whole crew of space Vikings that have their own weapons and small arms and explosives, and it's going to train it on the ship, you know. So it's really hard to say what this thing will do. That's kind of the wild card, is like, you know, if he's crazy enough, he could just train it on the Vodenseye and destroy the ship.
Well, it's a lot easier to destroy a ship on the ground than in the sky. I'm thinking we might need to bring the lady to bear on this. You mentioned creating a diversion. There ain't no diversion's going to make it sit up more than an aerial assault from a starship.
Magni says you would sacrifice your ship, Captain, and endanger it as a diversion to bring this man to justice.
I'm hoping that our pilot is better than that.
I think we should come up with a smarter plan.
Well, maybe you're right. But I mean, it's a ship weapon on the ground. I mean, it can do. I mean, can it blow up the ship in one shot?
It will do a just to keep things simple. It will damage the ship as if it were a pulse laser. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It is an anti-aircraft gun. This is the main thing that it is built for.
I mean, yeah, and not to get too technical, there's traveler stuff. There's starship scale, and then there's aircraft scale. So I'm just making sure that pulse laser scale was not what I was imagining.
Yeah, so it's not going to like incinerate the Lady of Mercia in one shot, but it's also going to damage the Lady of Mercia if it hits. Now, one difference between that and shooting in space is, well, no, it's not a difference. They have to hit too, so there's also that.
Yeah.
So.
They have to hit. We have auto evade software. I mean, to resolve the situation, we're going to have to put some skin in the game, I think, unless we're just going to, unless y'all disagree.
Oh.
But the way I see it, you know, I would rather prevent a full-scale battle between the Vikings and Trask and his men. You think they're just going to sit still while we make an assault on the gun in force?
I want to reiterate, I wasn't advocating for a full assault. I was talking more along the lines of a stealth mission. Like that.
Yeah, but at some point it's going to come down to no matter which, if we go for either the gun or the ship, at some point it's going to come down to a ground fight. It doesn't matter how far we get, at some point that we're going to run into them.
Well, then there's the other piece of that. You know, the other piece of it is that if there's going to be a ground fight, don't you think it'd be good to be able to bring our ship's gun to bear? You know, it is the reason we got that thing, was to be able to shoot ground targets with it.
Another thing of note that I'm going to roll on this is it will come down to simple dice rolls, right? So like, let me think of how I'm going to condense this so you can make your decisions on it. It will probably be, I'm not leaning toward a pilot check to evade fire, and I think auto evade. So here's the problem. You have to open the cargo bay and stay stable in the air and fire this gun, and it's not attached to the outside of the ship or meant to be stable to fire, you know. Like, it's not like it's a ship's gun. It's something sticking out of the cargo.
Yeah.
So, I think, now, you know, the pilot, you could come up with something creative, of course, and then, you know, none of this matters, but, and I don't know what that would be. But, I think it's really going to be like slugging it out and who can hit first, you know. Whoever hits first wins, basically. And now they could hit you and it just like, I don't know, damage the, what's one of the things it can damage? It could damage the fuel processors again. And then all of a sudden you know, the fuel processors and then you have to spend money to fix that, you know, so I don't know. Just because the ship gets damaged doesn't mean everything comes to a halt. Or it could destroy
Yeah,
the
I
jump drive, and then it could matter a whole lot.
What do the Vikings want to do? I mean, they're sitting around. Magni's here. Sovereign's here.
Yeah, so while this is going on, they are also arguing in Old Norse. Now, Captain Bjorgelson, he's unconscious, but the kind of like the staff heads who never really got along super well to begin with. That's why they had a Space Viking captain. And they don't recognize Sulfrin. Sulfrin is not a noble. He doesn't carry the same weight as Bjorgelson. They are arguing among each other, and the plans are way worse than yours. Because they're you know, the way they're thinking about it, one group is like, we need to gather everybody up, every single, you know, gunfighter we have, and we're going to march line abreast straight through Trask, kill them all, straight into Harkamann, kill them all, and then go take down Lucas. And then I, of course, am going to be the captain. So there's like a couple of factions that are saying that, and then there's another faction that is sort of like, no, we need to wait on Captain Bjorgelson, and then once he's better, then he'll figure all this out, and he'll lead us out of this. So that's the best they can come up with.
Hey, how much... I'm going to ask Sulfrin this real quick. Or, no, who... Bjorgelson's right-hand man. Is he still around? Where's
Sulfrin,
he at?
yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh, that... If I pay off... If we pay off this debt, what does it get us?
Well, Trask will work for you.
Can I whisper to Bellamy real quick?
Yeah.
I want to know if we can get the software to run the guns as well as one of the pulse laser cans. Because surely they have that if they're running multiple guns at once on this ship. Can they just like copy the software and give us a copy as well? Can we negotiate for that if we're putting our ship at risk?
Oh, well, sure.
I will say that you can attempt a social check, because it'd be hard. It'd be hard to convince them of this, but
Yeah, that's fair. We're asking for a sudden increase in getting paid. Let me pull up my character real quick.
yeah, and this will be the only role. You know, basically, can you try to convince them to give you something else? Oh, nice, you made it. All right, yeah. Desperate, they say. Sulfrin says, "You're right. You essentially have a share in the ship at that point. If you could actually pay off Trask, it'll pay his debt."
Okay, in that case, we should absolutely do it because it's an enormous savings. An enormous savings. That software is no joke.
Are you saying that we should just hire Trask ourselves? Let's just our mercenaries just pay for it and order them around.
Think of the mercenaries as a I don't know, a door prize or something. We're paying for. We just bought a raffle.
120,000 is a lot less than the gun and significantly less than the software. So if it costs 120,000 for both, then that's
gun plus the software is $1.5 million easy.
To clarify, I think I misspoke. You know, this is debt. So like, what will he do after? You know, he's paid back. I don't know. I don't know what he'll do.
I just want him not to shoot at us
while
we're trying to take the gun, and it would be great if he helped out taking the gun too.
Hopefully, I don't think he is particularly invested in this Space Viking fight. I think he's worried about being 120k in the hole, and if we pay him off, hopefully he'll just withdraw and move on to his next job.
So it sounds like you all can do all of it if you want. So the first thing off the top, and Books, I'd like to know what you think. Like, do you use the Lady of Mercia? And again, what's at stake there is you can distract and annihilate the gun, with the price of, if the Lady of Mercia gets hit, best case scenario, you're going to lose a ton of money. Worst case scenario, you can't get off this planet. I don't know, but that's kind of like the top thing to me is, because I'm assuming if you can use the pigs, if you could pay this guy off, you'll just, throw everything at the gun as fast and hard as you can? I don't know,
In my mind, paying him off takes the Lady of Mercia out of it.
Yeah, go ahead, Books. What were you going to say?
I think that it makes sense to involve the ship, as long as the captain's cool with it. It does seem like that would be our best bet. And as far as paying him off, I also think that's a good idea. Because as long as, even if he doesn't join us, it'll be good to not have him shooting at us. And initially I was thinking it would be good to do something so that we could retain use of that weapon. But I don't know how much more difficult that would be to try to just take it offline for future use versus just destroying it. And I think the odds are already going to be kind of not really in our favor. So my vote is to just blow it up. But yeah, those are my thoughts on things.
All right. And what about the other weird things like the beetle pigs and pathfinding and a stealth mission versus a blitzkrieg,
Yeah. I think stealth until somebody said it earlier, but at some point it's going to have to turn into a firefight. But I like the idea of stealth as much as possible until the last conceivable second. That with some kind of diversion, I think just to have a full-on tactical strike, everybody on the same page at the same time.
That may be a little ambitious.
We could try, and I think we could get those pigs involved. Those could be a diversion. We could have them, put a bomb on one of them and have it go up in a different direction, and we could get creative and think about it. I'm sure we could think of something collectively. But yeah, I think we should definitely involve the pigs.
Okay. So the one big card on the table here, one kind of vote against the ship, one for the ship. Shipley, what do you think? Do you think you should use the Lady of Mercia, or do you think you should keep that card in the deck?
Can we talk to Trask?
Good point.
And try to pay him off before bringing the ship into play?
Yeah, maybe we should resolve that first. Seems like everybody wants to do that, so... Sulfurn agrees to this. He says, if you're willing to pay all of the credits to Trask, then you can do it. Let us know how we can help. And you can take as many Space Vikings as you want, or as few, and you can go any direction. What do you think?
And point us where on the battlefield is Trask seem to be operating out of?
They know where he is. In fact, there was a gun battle right here across from you early on with his men, and a bunch of Sulfurn's men died. And they know for a fact that he's holed up in a building here to the northeast.
Was it his men you all were shooting, fighting with when we came in, Bjorvi?
Aye, they were.
Well, they seem disciplined, and they don't seem ready to just run out into danger, so they seem reasonable. Because they were doing bounding fire and covering a retreat instead of pressing an attack when they had an advantage.
All right, Marcello, what do you think as far as approaching Trask? How do you get the in with Trask?
I think that we should fashion a banner with a flag on it that indicates we want to parlay with him, and set out with that banner. and trust that they don't kill us in cold blood.
Do you have a radio?
Who?
Yeah, does
I
Trask
have-
have a radio?
Sulfrin says, I'm not sure. Everything devolved into chaos rather quickly. It's hard to say what everyone has.
Last session we had talked about maybe setting up some kind of loudspeaker. What is our means of doing that? Is it the kind of thing where you just have to jury rig?
Borvi volunteers. He says, I could create a speaker. That wouldn't be a problem.
I'll just, if Harkamann finds out that we're trying to pay off Trask, he's not gonna like that, and he may interfere.
I
That's the only
agree.
risk
He doesn't
of
need to
a
know.
public.
Well, he's gonna know if we loudspeaker it.
It's true.
I agree. I think we should take. My vote is try to figure out a stealthy way to contact Trask and use the loudspeaker on Harkamann's men after we've dealt with Trask.
Can we attach a note to a pig and send it in that direction?
Borvi laughs and he's like, I had not considered using a note on a pig. Some solutions work after millennia. I think that I can find some ways to motivate a pig to go that way. The shepherd he's distraught. You know, these beetle pigs are dying. All of his babies. Yeah, that would take time, essentially, because you're going to be waiting to hear back, you know, and you're not going to know what the result is. So that's all that would look like.
These are probably not homing pigs.
He's like, I could do that as well, if you think that would help.
Well, we know where they are. I think send a small team like we did last time, like we did to talk to Bjorby.
So you
I just
don't
really
want to send a
admire
pig. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yorvi's commitment to using the pigs to solve every conceivable issue.
Well, I think we could send the pig ahead of us with a note saying we're coming.
Put a kettle on. You're gonna have guests pretty soon.
In other words, we let them be on their guard. Like, we tell them ahead of time we're coming instead of trying to, stealth in there. But it would give us a quiet way of approaching them where we wouldn't have to take them by surprise and then deal with them with happy trigger fingers.
I can draw a pig and
I like that idea.
Sounds good.
Do it. Best I can do in Foundry. It's one big downside to Foundry. Okay, so we got a pig. Oh, and it won't let me drag it either. Here we go. Oop, I just took its ear.
So-
Okay, I guess this is not going to work. Alright. So you're going to attach a note to a pig and send it ahead to try to let them know that you're coming under a truce, a parley. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, I probably ought to do it exactly the same as last time. Maybe bring like the faction leaders with us, and
Maybe someone who can speak on their behalf.
yeah, I mean, someone that Trask will definitely recognize, though.
True. But in our note, we might want to emphasize we are not space Vikings. We don't speak a word of Old Norse. We are just in the market for some reliable mercenaries, and we're willing to pay.
Well, we're willing to pay off Bjorgulfsson's debt.
We can iron out those details once we're in person. We just need to have a good enough hook that they'll be receptive to us when we arrive.
Yeah, good point.
Alright, so you send out a pig. You hear it
And then we should...
skitter and squeak and grunt as it trundles off into the gunfire beneath it, with its low profile. And it takes some time, so I'm going to make some rolls.
Well, how long should we
Little
wait
known
before we
fact
follow?
that beetle pigs are smarter than dogs.
Smarter than Beetle Dog.
Yes.
I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes maybe? I don't know how long it takes to traverse the battlefield just to get to its destination.
You hear screaming. Now, you don't hear a beetle pig screaming. That's not what I mean. I mean, you hear humans screaming, including a woman's voice screaming. It sounds like there's
Is it
several.
coming from?
It's coming from.
Well, where's that coming from?
Yeah, it's coming from further away in the city, in the direction of Harkamann's the building, in that direction, anyways. And yeah, I think that's probably. Eventually, you know, nothing else happens. You don't have a radio, so you just have to hope that they got the note, and yeah.
Let's head out.
All right. You gonna take a translator with you?
Well, does Trask only speak Old Norse also? I thought he was a regular old mercenary.
He's a space Viking mercenary. They're from the Sword Worlds. They're Sword Worlders. But you know, as a matter of fact, yes, he does speak Anglic. They tell you that. So if you don't want to take any liaisons, you don't have to.
I don't think it would hurt. You never know who we're going to run into along the way.
They volunteer Borvay for this, in fact.
All right.
And then you also notice you can hear them because this happens in Anglic. They command Borvay to rotate his crew out of that stronghold and to come here immediately, and that's because they have technicians, and they intend to run the ship with those technicians. And let me make sure you have Borvay. Yeah, you do. Okay. And all right, from the outside, there is no gunfire that you can hear coming from these directions anymore. So that's good news. Actually, it's probably died down, in fact. Every once in a while you'll hear gunfire in the distance. You can see a locked door over here. And you're not sure what else. You know, and no one else has reconned that building either. What do you do? And I'll toss the ball over to... Got Chapman, Shipley, March books.
So I say we keep going. Maybe we send a couple of the Space Vikings over to check out that door and see what's going on with it. But I say we proceed.
Okay, no problem. You see a bunch of dead bodies. 6 dead bodies in this area, half a dozen. And you come up to the locked door, and the Space Viking simply comes up and pounds on it and speaks in Old Norse. And it opens. And there's a pig inside. And they have weapons trained on you.
Oh.
Yeah, no Mama pig.
It's our messenger pig.
Yeah, messenger pig.
Is it our messenger pig from before?
Yes.
Okay. And is there any message or anything attached on it? Like any reply?
Well, you said that there are guns trained on us, right? Like there are guys in there?
Yeah. There's guns trained on you, and in fact, they come out. They're speaking in Old Norse, and they wave you to go this way, and a few of them take the lead. All of them come out of this building. Do you follow them?
Okay, so
In for a penny.
That's what we're here for.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
All right.
Talk to the guy.
As soon as you round this corner, all of a sudden you immediately start taking fire from what looks like an old restaurant. And
What the hell?
there are people in the windows there who have taken cover, and they start firing on your position. They have the initiative. We can also see if anybody's surprised, though. So, Bellamy, if you'd roll a d6, please. They actually might be surprised. That was 3 greater than your opponent. So, they are surprised. You see them first. Never mind. What do you do?
They clearly intend to fire on whoever comes around the corner, or...
Yeah, clearly.
Just turn around.
Take cover.
You all dive and take cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, woo.
Yes, for sure.
You all fly, behind these sandbags and vehicles and stuff and dive for cover.
Hey, I just stay behind the corner that we were about to walk out from. It's like that scene in The Simpsons where Abe goes in and then he turns around.
Well, all right, yeah. We'll put Chapman back there, and meanwhile, these space Vikings, they also move to nearby cover as best they can. But there is not a lot on offer. So they are going to just start shooting because they have surprise. But they have to hit some people in cover, so it's at a -4. So they all miss.
Our position behind cover. Can we identify who those forces are? That little building.
Yeah.
What are Trask's envoys doing? Do they seem to be with the guys opening fire on us? Are they also taking cover?
No, let me kind of describe the situation here. So you all came around this corner, and it's clear like these were Trask's men, but they were in a separate outbuilding. And so they were leading you after they had talked to your liaison. You came around the corner, and you immediately spotted these people, and all of you dived for cover, like before they could start shooting, because you got surprise on them. And so they started diving for cover as well. And no, this is a separate group. Presumably, Harkamann or Lucas's men, one of the two. These two start shooting, and now these two are gonna these 4 are gonna shoot back because they're in cover. These people are not in cover. 8, 11, 8, and 7. So 3 of them hit. Yeah. Okay. One of them is killed outright, and the other one is knocked unconscious and flown against the wall, slumps against the wall, riddled with bullets, and it looks like the entrance is now covered from this restaurant.
It's not a good look.
Okay.
I think we need to fire back.
Yeah.
Does Borby have a loudspeaker?
You all never asked Borby to make a loudspeaker.
Can you shout over gunfire?
Yeah, I mean...
Higher lungs, civilian Chapman.
Yeah, what do you all want to shout?
I mean, our guys just immediately missed all of their opening shots against them.
Yeah, because they were firing against cover, which is a -4.
Those were just warning shots. You have a chance to stand down.
You hear laughter.
Hey.
They loved that joke. And, alright, so these Space Vikings are going to shoot. I think that they're going to have to, get a, what is it, a 12 in order to hit. And none of them get a 12. I'll also give your leader, or you're not your leader, but Borvi a chance here. Yeah, and what do you all do? You want to start shooting?
Might as well.
I mean, our chances are not going to be great against opponents behind cover, right?
Right. You have to get a 12 at least. Unless you can, there's some other stuff that you have, but...
Did we bring any of the pigs with, bombs attached?
I wish we had.
Somebody could try running back under gunfire to try to get one of the bomb pigs if you want.
I mean, can we send one of the soldiers or the space Vikings back?
Sure. Yeah, you could do that. On their
I
turn.
say let's do it.
Okay. Does anybody disagree with that?
Sorry.
Nope.
I think it's
No.
Ross, am I okay if I take a peek around the corner? Just quickly move my my token one square down.
Yeah, because you can't see. My bad. There, here.
Yeah.
Actually, here you go.
No,
So
I mean
you're peeking around the
I
corner.
chose to do that. Is there any visible structures in the vicinity that we could aim at instead that would like cause them to fall down in front of them or on top of them?
Well, the restaurant's not in great shape, but you would need something more than your assault rifles because they're kind of like Swiss cheese in this building. But if you had something that could do that, yeah, you could do that.
We really need to get more grenades at some point.
Episode title. All right, so yeah. Meanwhile, what is everyone else doing? Are you going to try to shoot, or are you going to stay hunkered down, or what do you think? You guys
I'm gonna
checking your
return
ammo?
No.
Yeah, please check your ammo. If you have an assault rifle, you also have some tactical options. I'll leave it up to you, but you can choose to fire on automatic, I think, or not. I think it has a modifier here. It says allowed die modifier. Oh, I thought so. I won't look it up, but you tell me if there's one of these modifiers you can add. But I think
Question for you, Ross.
I think automatic
What would
fire
their
is 3 rounds, and then single fire is 1 round, if I recall. I could have that wrong. Go ahead, sorry.
What would their
Yes,
armor
automatic
and
fire.
the range be?
Yeah, their range. They are at medium range.
Gotcha.
So I guess actually that should be a +1. So yeah, what are you all doing? I'll start with Books. Books, what are you doing?
I mean, so talking seems out of the question. We don't have our bomb pig yet.
What?
So we're all in cover. Is there anything I could do to fortify my position?
Yeah, there's 2
Like-
options, in fact. So good question. You can stay completely concealed and prone, which gives you full cover. That means they can't hit you, unless they have a grenade or something. The other option is to just take cover, which would give them a -4 to hit you, but you could shoot them.
Okay. On this round, I'm gonna go for full cover.
All right. Everybody else want to stay under cover? Or anybody want to shoot?
I'm gonna shoot.
I'm gonna shoot, but by my reading, I think everybody should be at a +3 on the roll because medium range with auto rifle is +2, and
Nice,
if you
there
have
you
a
go.
skill, if you have a skill of 1, that should be an additional +1.
And then
I'm
mine-
gonna fire my shot. I'm gonna fire my shotgun, which gives me a medium of +3,
Nice.
and I think my 1 in addition, which would negate their cover. Is that right?
What's the total that you have to overcome a -4 if you're gonna negate it?
If he has a skill of 1, and,
Right.
and a
I have a
+3
skill
on
of
the
1
range.
and 3 in the range.
Oh, there you go. Yep. So you just got to get an
Uh-oh.
8.
Okay. Fire away.
Oof.
Ross, I had a question.
Yeah.
How many rounds is it gonna take for the pig to come back to us?
Yeah, you're not sure, but that's about to come up right now. But to be clear, what's happening right now is there are 2 Space Vikings that are fleeing in the open. So we'll see what happens during this round.
That's my auto rifle. Roll
Running
right
away.
there.
Yeah, to try to go get the bomb pig, if possible.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
All right. Yeah. So I see that that you hit. Maybe you don't need a bomb pig.
I'm trying to get the
Damn it,
damage.
never mind. I need to do this instead. 1 second. Okay, so I got a 6 plus 3 is 9.
Yeah, 9 hits. Nice.
Alright, and that's for 6 damage.
He is still up.
Okay, and then I got 7 damage. on mine.
Which ones are you shooting? Are you all shooting at actually?
This one.
Okay, and you said 9 damage.
I got a 9 to hit and then a 7 damage.
Okay.
I will aim at this one. I think I should have a +4 because of the range, and I have +2 because I have a high dex. I'm doing my automatic rifle. I got a total of 8.
8?
To hit.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, roll for damage. And Bellamy, which one were you shooting at? This one right here?
Yeah, I guess it would be the same. I mean, me and Heise are, Shipley, we're shooting the same one, I think.
Alright, yeah, you take him out. Go ahead.
I do 10 damage to this one.
You knock him unconscious. You hear screams over there, and they need to make a morale check. Which they pass. They drag the bodies away. On their round, you have afforded cover fire for your bomb pig squad. And so they're going to try to shoot at you all. They miss. And meanwhile, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Space Vikings. They're going to shoot as well. Well, actually, I'm wrong. One of them does hit. Yeah, because he got an 11. I missed that. And that's at a +1. +1 minus 4 is 8, so that hits. That is going to hit Marcello.
Excellent.
Marcello,
Oh, God.
you take 10 damage. You can pick the stat
Here.
that it does damage to.
Well, let's see.
It would be one of the 3 physical stats, though. And I think that
Your
either,
education just takes a real hit.
I think either way, this will make you unconscious. Which, if I recall off the top of my head, means that you'll come back with half that stat in 3 hours.
Let's take it off my endurance, I suppose.
Endurance. Okay, so I got, 7 endurance, so you're -3, so then you would take another 3 from strength. Yeah, and then... So actually, you'll just, you'll come back with half endurance in 3 hours. And you'll need to get medical care to get it all the way back up to 7.
Great.
Alright. Marcello is down. But you have given the opening. Oh, and then these guys fired as well. Let's see here. 8, but at -4, misses. That one hits, and that misses. So one of them hits. Knocks it unconscious. At this point, they are doing badly enough that the remaining Space Viking is just trying to drag the survivors away. And you have won the battle, and for the first time in a long time, you do not hear any gunfire. And instead, you hear the eerie silence and the tumbling winds of these irradiated clouds just tumbling across the, whipping through the narrow streets nearby. And then these 2 Space Vikings come back with 2 pigs under their arms and look at you quizzically.
I'm gonna hoist up Marcello in a fireman carry and start heading towards that door.
Alright, yeah. You guys are going to try to get inside the door?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Let me
mission.
get these out of the way so that they don't cause any problems for that. And they go up on the door, and they beat on the door. and they say some stuff in Old Norse. And the door is opened. 2 doors, in fact. They have double security. And they wave you all inside to get in quickly. And weapons are trained on you, but then, you know, they say some things in Old Norse and they talk, and immediately you see a tall but overweight man with a bald head. He's wearing some kind of thing over his left eye and is smoking. And he says, "Well, they tell me that you can pay. Maybe we can get out of this mess yet."
Hey, that's the idea.
Where's the money?
Now, before we were transmitted the credits electronically. So I should be able to show him some sort of a, you know, account receipt.
Do you all have the money? Like you have 120,000 credits? Just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can show him proof that you can pay him, yeah.
By my count, I mean, so but here's another question, and this is a little bit meta, but I just want to throw it out there. Do you want to pay for this out of the group pool? It's something we can decide later, maybe. I guess we'll decide it later, but it's something to decide.
That seems like a...
Yeah, I'm not sure where else we're going to get.
Yeah, that seems like a
accurate.
simple yes. Like, yeah, you know, until you guys make the decision that you're financially secure enough to pay the crew, which is not... It's, you know, what's interesting is you haven't been, as well as you have been doing, you haven't been doing well enough to pay one another yet, so... you all found money on your previous jobs in different ways, so you guys got some cash stowed away, but yeah, no, that I think that group pool keeps things simple. I kind of like that. And you'll just see me, like, you know, you'll see that cash flow difference in the results after this session.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll show him that proof.
All right. Yeah, that works. And he says, all right. And are you interested in hiring some veteran space Viking gunfighters then? He smiles.
Well, I was thinking about, you know, maybe you could help everybody get out of this.
Oh, yes, definitely. But that will cost extra.
Yeah, how much extra?
Let me take a quick look. Oh, they don't have Marine listed here, but if I were to read Mark Miller's mind, I bet it's a lot less than the others. I'm going to say 2,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be... He says, just a nominal fee of 40,000 credits, and you'll get a month of our service. I think that's 40.
What's your plan if we don't hire you? You're just going to walk out?
That's exactly it.
Let's consult. Give me a moment. Ideas on the table, everybody. What do you think? You want a month of...
Anybody have any other thoughts what we could do with 1 month of mercenaries under our service?
The mind boggles, as they say.
It might help us get off rally now that we're marked as terrorists. Although I will say hiring mercenaries will not clear our name any.
Books, what do you think? You're muted.
I think, what if, like, is there any way we could buy his services for, like, way less time? Or maybe we could barter something? Or, like, offer to do a job for him? I don't know. I feel like I'm more thinking about, like, the short term. Um, you know, having them for a long amount of time. I don't like that could definitely take us in some interesting places. But yeah, I guess overall I'm thinking, like, could we ask if maybe we could get a cheaper rate if we use him for less amount of time, or if we could agree to do a job for him for helping us out.
He says, I'm sorry, but I'm just short on jobs right now to offer. He says that, obviously sarcastically. And you'll have to pay us the full rate, whether it's 1 day or whether it's 30. And there are some stipulations as well in the contract, you see. Whether you decide to hire us to help sort all this out, of course, to help the Vodenseye, who we served so dearly and so close to our heart so long. You'll need to agree contractually. Captain Jorgelson, he'll cause us no problems. Does that make sense? He's saying...
Oh, he doesn't want any revenge. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I vote we just don't pay him. Like, we'll pay him what was owed, and that we don't pay him, like, for his services. If they're just gonna leave, then that's fine.
Agreed.
Yeah, we can't afford it. It would be awesome, but we can't afford it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The only fear that I have is if he goes over to that crazy madman with the big gun, and that guy hires mercenaries.
I think
With what money?
Exactly. But if the madman has no money, then it's not a problem. And in that case, I say just let him walk. We've cleared the debt. We don't need his services. Let him walk. I think we've got enough of the factions cobbled together to maybe take on the madman.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll let him know. Thanks very much, but not today.
Very well. He rounds all of his people up, says something in Old Norse. They walk out the door. They leave you to this place.
Do we know address Marcello's gunshot wound at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I understand it would be rude to do that sort of thing in the middle of a business deal, but now that the guy's gone, like...
Yeah, and I believe if someone passes a medic check, you'll get him up sooner.
Oh boy. Okay, I can roll.
Oh no.
So that would be... So I rolled a 6, and then adding medic would be 7?
Alright, gotta get an 8.
Oh, okay. I don't know if anyone can do an assist.
I just discovered something I adore. Whenever you try to even revive someone from low passage, low passage is like in Aliens, right? Where they put them in like a cryostasis.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a medic 1 check at least, with at least a 5+ to revive, or they just die outright.
Oh my god.
I love
That's
it.
why low passage is cheap.
Sucks.
Yep, but it's
And
cheap.
we think economy class sucks. Right?
By the way, Our ship has low passage on it. We should be trying to find low passage passengers when we can, but that's another story. We'll address that at the time comes.
To circle back, is it possible for anyone to assist Shipley in this?
Yeah,
Give them
so
some kind of advantage?
everybody can attempt this because everybody has Medic 1. You should all have the basic ship skills. There's basically
I thought I wrote all of those down, but I didn't think that was one of them.
I think I changed my mind because it's required in order to operate on a... Well, no, I think it is required for this vessel. Yeah. It's a steward is required on a 400-ton, but medic is required for this. Yeah.
I'll
Um,
give it a shot.
I think I got it. I got a 10.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got
Okay.
You are back in the land of the living, Marcello, and your endurance is now 4 for now instead of 7.
Oh, God. You guys, why did you wake me up? That was as much sleep as I've had in like the last 2 months.
Nice. All right.
Thank you anyway, Books, for bringing me back.
You got it. You got it.
Everyone.
So here you are in this building. It seems especially hardened. It seems like it's probably one of the most secure buildings that you've seen. Do you want to try to make a move from here, or do you want to go back to the command post?
I'd say back to the command post. I mean, now it's time for every man on deck, I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I say we rig up that loudspeaker.
Yeah, get that Borvi. That.
All right. So let's put the whole plan together. So you're going to do a loudspeaker. And what else?
I think we send a kamikaze pig as a distraction so that he points his anti-aircraft gun away from wherever direction we're approaching from. I think we send Vikings to do the approach, not us.
Is this all if the loudspeaker fails? Or do we do it? Or we just ignore it?
Presumably.
I think we should approach in 2 different groups from 2 different directions, because he can't aim in 2 different directions simultaneously, so we can send, for example, Sovereign's guys from one side and then Magni's from another.
All right. At this, by now, Captain Bjorgelson has managed to come into consciousness, and he limps toward the table. And yeah, I don't know. What do you all think of that plan? An attack from 2 directions. I suppose the other thing is what directions is it? Is Magni gonna do a direct attack, and then you're gonna try to sneak around from another direction? Just a simple Sun Tzu, just a simple flank attack, or is it? And then you're also gonna send in kamikaze pigs, and before all that, you're gonna make this demoralizing space Viking sermon,
Remoralizing.
or possibly. Okay. Does that sound good to you, Shipley and Books? Marcello, what do you all
Yes.
think? All right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great idea. I mean, trying to think of like any other kind of diversions, but I think the pigs and then the soldiers, I think that will work well.
All right. Captain Bjorgelson hears this plan. He comes up to the table and he points to Magni and he says, "You wanted a world. Is this the world you wanted? You will lead the assault to redeem yourself. And then he says, he turns to the rest of you, and Salfran, the rest of you will follow me. And,
I draw my cutlass.
alright. Let me get everybody together. And what do you want to say on the loudspeaker?
Now, is our goal to try to get Harkamann to surrender, to mislead him into doing something that we'll take advantage of? What's the idea here?
I say you should make your audience all his crew and cast him as somebody that has usurped, the proper chain or whatever the Norse version of that is, and some mythological. There's got to be somebody that fits that bill, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I got
So
this.
throw. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Loki.
Loki would
You're
seem
right.
to suggest himself.
Could we offer them like amnesty, like if they defect and come to us? Like maybe we could say something on the loudspeaker, like, leave now and join us, like, or else, like not to tip them off, but that might be effective, getting some soldiers to join our side, or at least stay out of the fight.
I'm hoping
Well,
if he sells
the
the
soldiers
whole.
that escaped us at Trask will probably have told him that we came and did a deal with Trask, so he'll know that already.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely
they
a
ran, but they
possibility.
ran before we talked to Trask.
I mean, they saw us meeting with Trask, and they saw us fighting with his men.
That's true.
Right.
But I think the whole idea is if we sell them on the mythology here, the problem should take care of itself, and they'll want to rejoin Bjorgulfsson if it works.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. What do you say?
I do my best to spin a tale about how all this bloodshed and strife originates in the treachery of serpents. That there is been nothing but trouble coming from the odd man out among the clan. That Harkamann is like Loki, and he is not loyal at all to his fellow space Vikings. That he's tried selling you out to the giants of Frost, and that is why you find yourselves robbed of what was rightfully yours, a planet. And that if you recall your lore, the children of Loki are destined to be slain in this conflict, and this is not a role that you want to play. When the history of these things is written and the world is burned into ash and born anew, you would be remembered as villains and as usurpers rather than those who fought for right and glory and the things that a space Viking should value.
All right. You finish that, and there's a pause for a moment, and then you hear gunshots echo in the distance. Like a few different gunshots. Let me change a couple things here.
Shots.
I'm going to turn to the crew and say, I love you guys.
you like, and these are just like, you just hear bang, 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 and that's it. So that's all you hear.
I see.
And then a few more moments pass, and you hear a mad kind of I don't know how to describe this. Like the voice quivers and vacillates back and forth between a kind of emotional, kind of like as if he's about to break into tears, and then transitions into this like this emphatic kind of like screaming, yelling, and one of them translates for you, and he says, "It's Harkamann. He's yelling to Captain Bjorgelsen and our men. He says that we are all cowards, and that we have already received our due, and we have our beds in Niflheim. And many other things. Some of it makes no sense."
Nothing I've said has made any sense.
And by this point, the main assault, or main effort, led by Magni, that you just hear screaming, and an attack as a bomb suddenly goes off nearby somewhere, and you see this smokestack that was half destroyed finally give in and collapse. And I need to make another change because you decided to do that. And you just see it like collapse in on the building. And then just as that's about to happen, you hear yelling, and Captain Bjorgelsen says, "Stop, stop!" And your translator says, he says that he's turned the gun on the Vodenseye.
Wow.
And I'm going to get rid of these walls because they're not going to be very useful to understanding what's going on here. And I think that you'll be able to kind of tell. You can't see inside the buildings, but you can tell what's going on here. This building is destroyed, and you can expect everyone in it to be dead. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff so you can see what's going on. And yeah, you probably wouldn't know the specific number, but you know that like some of his people died. So that's like the whole situation. And then there are people down here manning this gun, and they have it pointed toward the Vodenseye.
Big time.
Back at the top of the round, Shipley. What do you think?
Oh. Okay, so Magni was not able to successfully deal with the gun, is what I'm hearing.
The assault was about to begin, but, Harkamann knew the assault was about to begin, and now he's saying, all right, well, I'll destroy the Vodenseye.
Okay, so, and Captain Bjorgelsen does not want to proceed with the assault now because the ship is in danger.
Yeah. He thinks they'll strip out the ship. At least, they'll destroy the ship.
Okay, so it looks like Plan A is not working. So I guess maybe it's time to reconsider bringing the lady in, to take out the gun.
I think it's a bit late for that. I mean,
Yeah, the lady is a good, 20 kilometers away or whatever it was? 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers away?
Do we just have to use our words?
well, it might be pig time.
Can the pig take out the gun? Is the bomb big enough? Or like multiple pigs?
Borvi says, I can use the pigs. I am not sure if the pigs can get to the gun. And even if they can, it will take some time for me to get in position and to try to set loose the pigs. I would need time. And
Can
I'm
we
not...
stall by trying to negotiate? Harkamann is outnumbered. He's also crazy, so I don't know how strong his logic is. But if we can try stalling him, we can get Borvi time to do his pig plan.
Well, it's Viking negotiation, right? He's already called us cowards.
Okay, so we insult his mother.
What would like a full frontal assault look like? Like,
Well,
I'm not saying we do that, but I'm just curious.
That's what was about to happen. And basically, he's saying he's trained this large gun on the Vodenseye, and it'll be destroyed as soon as you attack. So you have a main body here getting ready to attack, yeah.
So if we tried to take out those guys on the gun, we wouldn't have a chance. They would just, start shooting.
Right.
Okay.
Is Harkamann just standing out there?
Yeah. Of note, he's on the roof, like ranting and.
Oh, take him out.
I think his guys are loyal enough that if we do that, they're going to pull the trigger.
I thought Bjorgulfsson thought that all we had to do was kill him.
I thought so too, but it seems like he has killed several of his men, and they have a newfound loyalty. We have them surrounded, and they will most certainly die if they try to destroy the Vodenseye. That tells me they are loyal indeed.
If we did stall and gave enough time for Borvi to send in his pigs, are we confident the explosion would be big enough to destroy the gun, as long as we gave him that time?
Borvi says, yes, I'm confident that the bomb that I could jury-rig would take out the gun. There is another matter. I think that this is something that someone would need to go with the pig and make sure that it could actually get there.
He drove so fast.
What if, how good a sword fighter is that guy?
Bjorgulfsson says, one of my best.
Are you proposing that we challenge him to a duel?
Yes.
Captain, are you trying to try out your cutlass skills?
It's been too long.
Is talking our way out of this do we have any chance of that?
I think the duel would appeal more to these Vikings. I don't think they like talking.
Yeah.
I think, do we have any Vikings that are good enough at dueling they could hold their own with this guy for a couple minutes?
Captain.
Yeah, the captain should do it.
Oh, go ahead.
Tell him I demand satisfaction. Man to man, mano a mano.
I don't think that's the kind of duel. It's going to be to the death. All right.
We have henchmen. We don't need to put ourselves at risk.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
not as good at sword fighting as this guy is.
Well, that's in the test. But
could we mention a duel and then just shoot him when he gets closer?
I don't think our friends would like that.
Classic Indiana Jones.
I'm saying the duel is strictly for stalling purposes. Let's get Borvi working on those pigs now. We'll take the mic and we start talking to him again while Borvi's working on that.
And meanwhile, I'm going to ask Bjorgulfsson, would he go for it? Would he go for a duel?
Certainly.
And
he would have to.
Who's going to go with the pig? Go ahead, sorry.
He would have to.
Go ahead.
I think he was asking who's going with the pigs.
Yeah, that was actually my next question.
We have a sneaky Viking.
No. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be the travelers.
Hey, is that gun?
I mean, you guys, I would volunteer, but I already took a bullet.
Shot, yeah. I mean, I have a high dex, if that's what stealth is based on, so I can try that.
Okay, so Shipley is volunteering to lead the pig up to where it needs to
Shepherd the
go.
pigs. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys aren't going to split up and just everybody go with, a group go with the pig and a group stay with the main group? I guess we
They
don't
send
really.
a shepherd with the pigs.
That's totally. He insists. All right. They send a space Viking with you, and then also Borvi goes because he'll have to rig the pig, the grig, and it's a long ways. They actually you actually have to go all the way out around the battlefield to make it to where he thinks they need to be released. Now you go behind these buildings and all kinds of stuff. This takes a long time, but you ultimately come back to this this manhole. Where's it at? Right there. And he prepares the pig, and he says, "I can only hope that this will lead where I hope it does. And I also hope we don't become lost." He mentions like 5 or 10 other scenarios that he hopes doesn't happen while he's strapping up this explosive onto this pig. Meanwhile, back with you all, yeah, Bellamy, you say that you unclasp your cutlass?
I've had it drawn the whole time.
All right.
But,
let's see here. He waits for you, blade in hand. The rules of this are as follows. Your endurance determines the number of blows that you can provide, assuming that you don't kill each other before then. There is no surprise. You'll start at the same time, but I'll let you start first. Or, he will. You can make a number of blows equal to your endurance. You don't know what his endurance is.
right.
And,
So you just want me to roll 9 times?
well, you'll also do damage as this occurs. But once you reach your level of endurance, total allowance for swing blows. Let's see. Special blows. You become weakened.
Right.
And you get a weakened blow based on the weapons table, it says. This is assuming that... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I have a question for our Viking friends before we begin the duel.
Oh, and here we go. Wound... wait, no. I have it wrong. Weakened. Where does it say weakened? We'll just do like -2 to start, unless you see it somewhere, because I do not see it. I'm looking at cutlass, and then it doesn't say weakened, and so I'll just say it's -2.
Yeah, weaken blow is -4.
Okay, there we go. I don't see it. I'm looking for it, but okay, -4. That makes sense. You may also, instead of attack, you may parry, and then you let's see. It's a negative... No, you do it automatically. So it's a negative modifier against their attack.
Is it worth my skill?
I think
is it like equal to my skill level?
It looks to me like, yeah, it's equal to your skill level, and it's automatic. So, yeah.
Right
so,
on.
Would he get a bonus if he stripped down to just his shorts? Like Captain Kirk.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I got cloth armor on.
Yeah, versus cloth is -3, and this guy doesn't have any armor, interestingly.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do know that I'm at a +4,
All right, Chapman, what
and
were you
that's
gonna say?
because
Go ahead, Chapman.
These are all mechanical rules. Are there diegetic rules? Are there any customs that are we need to know about for Viking dueling? Is like talking not allowed? Is heckling frowned upon?
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think there are any rules.
if the
All right.
saga if the sagas are any guide, insulting is almost required.
That makes sense.
Uh,
Yeah.
I would like to mess with Harkamann's head during your duel. I'd like to employ some psychological warfare to help you
Oh
out.
geez. Yeah, that's
By all
true.
means, I don't care. I'm not interested in fighting fair.
All right, you are able to attack first.
That's a 12. I'm at a +4 because I have the advantageous strength of 11 required for an additional +2 on a cutlass.
Yeah, and then did you also include that this is against nothing, which is also a +4 on top of that? You already got that?
I did not. That makes it a +8 overall.
He applies a -4 to that.
Oh, well, it still ends up as a 12.
All right, you can roll for damage.
6.
6 damage. Let me take a look. You slice through his endurance, making him only able to do 2 more blows. But now he gets to have his turn. Immediately, he raises his weapon, and you immediately, knock it out of the way, riposte, and well, I don't know. You tell me what happens. Sorry, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, without going into a HEMA play-by-play, which I would love nothing more than to do, believe me. It's a chop followed by a good old high guard, and if he attempts to, your sword is your shield, as the saying goes.
All right. Meanwhile, you release the pig, and it winds its way down into this place after you lower it down in there. And you find yourself chasing this beetle pig in the dark sewers of this place. You can look up from here. You can see how whatever this once was actually smashed a giant hole. You can see the sky above from here in this place. And you make it this far, and all of a sudden you hear in the dark.
Susan?
As there's a giant angry mama pig down here, and it's very unhappy.
Oh boy.
That was awesome.
Meanwhile,
Well, he is with
actually,
you. The pig herder is with you, so that's a good
yes.
thing.
Yeah. So, Shipley, what do you do?
Oh boy. So one of us has to get the pigs to the gun, right?
Yeah, you got to get this pig past Mama Pig. It looks like hopefully this sewer winds its way into, the buildings beyond.
Okay. Crap, I don't want to give away our position. I'm gonna try talking to the pig, since I know its name. Maybe I can convince it.
Alright.
I don't even know what you rolled to talk to a pig.
There's no speak with animals?
I don't have it.
I'm too curious not to look in this case, because I bet there is a skill related to this. There would be Jack of all trades. I don't know if you have that. There is.
Oh, I have it 0.
You have Jack of all trades?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if there's this.
Makes you like the most valuable party member.
That's huge.
I want to know what Shipley says to a pig.
I don't even know what this does.
You can do xenomedicine. So it says Jack of all trades. It gives you a general ability applied to nearly any endeavor.
Okay.
You can attempt an activity normally not possible in the absence of a skill. So, for example,
Oh, that's huge.
yeah, essentially you can attempt xenomedicine, which is what you need to do for this. And you would do this at a, I'm going to say a -1. Most people that try to do this would be at a -2. I'm going to give you a -1, so you have to roll at least a 9. Now, you can modify this if you can think of ways to do that.
Okay. Let's see. I want to try to use my intelligence to modify it, so I will try to know what the pig guy shepherd told us about the matriarch trying to find a safe place for the pigs, and then what I know about the but using the pig's name and try to convince the pig that we're just moving the pigs to a safer place far from this open area that looks dangerous.
The shepherd's with you, so he tells you. He says, "Sarah just cares about her little Grig piglets. That's all that Sarah cares about. And after all this chaos started, and she ran off, I'm sure she is awfully scared for her Grigs."
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Did you just got an 11 on? Did we make our first
Yeah.
xenomedicine roll, and you got an 11 on it? Yeah.
I guess the shepherd's presence really helped.
So with that, yeah. I mean, what do you do? Do you hold your hand out, or offer at the baby Grig, or I mean, what does it look like? How do you become friends with the giant mama beetle pig?
Well, we have bombs on the Craig pigs, so we keep those away.
Yeah, we gotta not let her.
I'll just keep my hands out and kind of do the animal shushing thing.
All right, you managed to get the mama pig distracted long enough to get everyone to shuffle past, and it starts to follow you.
Oh boy.
And this goes into a narrow access way into the nearby buildings. Not just this building, but into the nearby buildings. So it does have one entrance into the building that you are seeking. Meanwhile, over here, he gets his lick. Oof. Not great. He gets a 5 plus a 4 is a 9. And then a -4, I believe, which brings it back to 5. And you also have armor on, right?
Yeah.
So he misses miserably, in fact. And he loses one of his 2 blows. And you can you can attack again.
I did. I got a 12.
12, that hits. You can roll for damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Do
lot of damage.
Do you end his life in front of his men, or do you spare him?
I end his life in front of his men.
What does that look like?
Nothing fancy. Just a pass of the blade through the throat.
All right, you do that, and before any more chaos can happen, this pig is set loose, and then you guys start to scurry back with the mama pig, who comes with you worriedly. But at least the shepherd has Sarah or Susan back. Sorry, whatever. And a huge explosion rocks the area nearby.
Ow.
And the gun is destroyed. And all the space Vikings cheer, as pretty much no one in here has any reason left to fight.
Oh my god, I can't believe we did it.
I know, right?
Good cheering.
I'm gonna sling my blade towards the ground while holding onto the handle so that the blood splatters on the ground next to this guy, and I'll spit on the ground on the blood and resheath my blade. That's what you get for blasphemy.
Nice. Move over the... Whoa! The mama pig's mutating. Getting weird. Alright, I'll move her over here. Alright, and, they are basically bound. You know, like, they're not gonna get the honor of being a crew member again. The final question then is, with all of the factions united and 2 eliminated, what do you do now?
Get paid.
Alright, I'm just gonna get rid of these. Well,
Unless there's any further business.
Captain Bjorgelson, he says, let's head to the Vodenseye then.
What does
I'm
it
gonna...
say?
He said let's head to the Vodenseye.
Okay.
I'm gonna maintain a fierce look on my face as I've just killed a man for the first time in a while, and my heart's racing, and my blade remains naked, and I will stalk the ground right next to these space Vikings with the blood of their former comrade.
Well, Captain,
Right.
don't let it get to you. The last thing we need is for you to declare yourself captain of the Space Vikings, just like this guy did.
I'm gonna turn around. Hush,
Are
I'm
you
doing
sure?
it.
Are you
Hush,
sure
I'm-
you don't want to take your shirt off?
You know what? I'm not sure. And I take my shirt off.
Someone get this man a drinking horn.
At the pad
I put my shirt back on.
of the Vodenseye, weapons are kept at a kind of parade rest, at a medium or a low carry, and everyone just marches up. They don't even fire. They can see that you have over 50 Space Vikings with you. Only the two factions that caused Captain Bjorgelson trouble are gone, for the most part, and they simply part out of the way, and they open the door to the Vodenseye. Now, I can't bring you into the ship. Instead, several people come out, including Lucas, who is being held at gunpoint. And one of Lucas's lieutenants says, Captain, I've taken Lucas for you. And before he can finish, Captain Bjorgelson walks up and shoots the man in the head. I mean, not the man who took Lucas captive. And comes back to you. Bellamy, and says, "Can I borrow your blade, Captain?"
I'll turn it around. Only if you're not going to kill me with it.
Not today.
I'll smile and hand it to him.
He walks back, taps Lucas where Lucas's blade is, and then and waits. And then Lucas tries to draw his blade, and then immediately Bjorgelson slashes Lucas, kills him, comes back to you all. He says that the first man I killed because if Lucas cannot trust him, I cannot. Lucas I killed because he allowed the crew to work with the Imperium, our hated enemy. And he was incompetent and allowed the crew to disintegrate after he mutinied. I'll need a new first mate. And he looks back at all the different factions. What do you think? Who do you think I should pick?
Well, Yorby's got a head on his shoulders. There's enough hot bloods around.
What do you all think?
Second that. I second that sentiment. He was a good help.
There is the shepherd, but
So you would suggest that I pick the person who is not born a space Viking?
I mean, I think today we've seen how useful it can be to have the occasional outside perspective. Sets you straight sometimes when otherwise people can be blinded by their own prejudices and passions.
Besides, everyone hates him equally.
That's a great point.
Jorgelson hands
What
back
did you
the...
say?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone hates him equally.
Yeah.
All right.
The perfect condition to be a first mate, actually.
Yes. Bjorgelson hands back the cutlass, the hilt, toward Bellamy and says, "It was useful to have an outside perspective, I agree." He, leans into his own wounds for a moment, shakes his head, and he says, "Borvai." And he takes the belt and pistol from Lucas, tosses it to Borvai, and he says, "Get the Vodenseye ready to fly." And everybody cheers, and they head onto the ship, and Captain Bjorgelson back in command again.
I just love hearing those words. Nothing like getting a ship ready.
I will need to meet you at Konig's Rock, but I'll give you some coordinates. Can I see your data pad?
I'll hand it over.
He puts in some information. He says, "This is a maintenance facility that the Imperium is not very familiar with. But I will warn you, Captain, when you make the jump into Bowman, there is a scout base there. In case word has gotten that far ahead of you by then."
What are our charges again?
Terrorism.
Yeah, but what's the evidence?
Oh, it's crap. It's not right. Yeah, I mean, you didn't do anything
I mean,
wrong. Yeah.
is it based on? I mean, but what is it? Like, is there any way we can if our problem is information, we need to know what the information is so that we can work to fix it.
Yeah. Well, we will talk about that later, but
Right on.
that ends the adventure for the night.